Encode your DNA. Define your genetic structure. Choose a genetic resilience. Choose your fur style. Pick your main color. Choose your detail color. Pick a class. Commando. Psy-freak. Saboteur. Sentinel. Deadeye. Deadeye chosen. That'll work. Here's somebody with a troubled past, drawn into the spotlight of a story that's already begun. We're already at a crossroads. Choosing a path in life is that fork in the road where you make a choice or simply stop living. But for you, it's not only a crossroad, but a choice, a reflection of your key, the primal energy that flows through everything.
Let me introduce myself. I'm the light and bright side of you, or your inner voice to be precise, an echo of balance and consequence of your actions as you move forward.
Seems more like you're being light-headed if you ask me, but you'll come around eventually.
But what comes around goes all the way back around. So, it's better to stick to your instincts. You can't fight what's in your nature.
In your nature? And here I was hoping we'd be all about natural selection, survival of the strongest, and so forth. If that's not instinct, then I don't know what is.
Ha! Natural selection is all about evolution and progress. And as soon as there's enough light, darkness will disappear.
Right is always right. Stories of death and the bodies left behind, a reminder that we're at the mercy of nature and the one that preys on others. Do you remember the beast that shattered your family, or did you choose to forget? You turned your back on our world and got lost in your own. Meanwhile, the predator only grew stronger. Better make a run for it. This is not the time nor place to end this story. This time, it was best to run and live to fight another day. Let us hope you're ready for it when it comes. The predator isn't the only threat. The wildlife started to mutate when the end of days began, and the tree of life started to die. The oil sludges everywhere. To most, it only means death, but some have adapted to the new environment and changed with it. Evolution has its ways. Look, an emergency box from the once was. A rare sight. That pipe looks weak. The claw bar should come in handy. Whoa! It's time to find a way out of this place. No, really, I mean it. The Morks produce biomatter in their multi-organ that they shed. under distress, blobs that affect the cellular coding strands of any living being when absorbed, including you. Finish 'em. Hey, nice shot. Toxanol built vessels called arks to save themselves from the impending doom. But was it too late? It is only from the flight logs of the single ark they left behind that we know other arks traveled through the sky and beyond. It seems those that came before us never lost hope in finding a new home for their kind. Just a few moves left. Make them count. There are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly the Toxanol Corporation would make its mark on the world. Their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and, without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. They began dumping the toxic waste in the surf just off the coast instead, assuming that it would sink and decay with time. And they were right. But no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. Once in the surf, the radiation interfered with the genetics of the wildlife and created bizarre mutations in their offspring. It had an inconceivable impact on biodiversity and the entire ecosystem. The world as they knew it crumbled as nature retaliated. It would never be the same again, and what remained of it became ours. The sound of spark metal going pew-pew is never a good thing. It's coming from behind that door. A warning label. The box looks like a potential brain melt. It's going to take a bit of puzzling to short-circuit the door. There you go. The wheeled one is outnumbered. You'd better help him out. Switched off the lights. That's the last of them. Let's talk to the wheeled one before backup arrives. He wants to thank you for taking his side against the scavengers. He sounds familiar. You just can't figure out why. He presents himself as out of date. He knows he's way overdue, but he hasn't given up. He doesn't seem surprised that you don't recognize him. You were just a child back then, the night everything changed. There have been rumors of a one-eyed Ronin seen outside the Great Wall, and he's happy to see it's true. The legend of the one-eyed child that grew up as an outcast is old and sad. The child could have been anyone, but the evil it had fled had left a mark, a facial scar to remember the past. There's no doubt you're the child, and that what Looper Lupin did to your village, your Muma and Popsy, was the beginning of the end. He says it has taken you a long time to bring the past back up to the present, to find your way back, but he's grateful you have. It was after the attack that the unity fell apart. Your Muma's disciples divided and formed tribes as a reaction to the blight that had fallen upon the land. Had it not been for the Tree of Life, no one would have survived. He hopes you at least remember the tree. Asks if you were tired, as it's a bit of a hike here from the village. He wonders if your Mooma knows you are here. You're such a good child, so you probably did. Even the young forget. He understands why you came all the way out here, to see them, the potato people. The potato people, or Nono, are a wonder, somehow interlinked with this little tree here, fuel. You might be right. Like potatoes, they're packed with energy, an excellent source of ki. The Nono prefer to hide in glitter grass. He says you should get over there and ruffle it. See if you can make one come out of hiding. You've found one. You should be proud. They don't come out for everyone. The Nono's ki energy is just what the Pensai needs to complete its cycle. Only time will tell. At least his intention is to dedicate his life to it. He has the feeling the fate of the world depends on it. You'll need a net to catch the Nono, and he wants you to use his, but asks you to be gentle. The Nono are sensitive beings, an embodiment of ki, the primal energy. You handle that net like you've never done anything else. He's impressed. One day, he hopes the tree will have grown tall enough to sustain the world. But today, your focus is getting this one to become one with the tree. Now that you've seen the Nono's connection with the tree with your own eyes, you have no reason to doubt. One day, the land won't be as peaceful. Not even your Mooma will be able to protect us. He says you'd better hurry back to the village before your Mooma comes looking for you. You did good here today. No, she's got lots on her mind and needs rest after the raid last night on the Lupin camp with her disciples. Wonders if they let the Predator family live or not. He lost you there for a while, but no memory is alone. It's part of a trail you can follow. He says he remembers every single day he devoted to growing the Tree of Life, but now he's afraid it might be in vain. Records tell of the ruinous devastation the Toxanol Corporation inflicted on the land. The apocalypse sparked a re-evolution, the second coming, and our lineage. His friend Gizmo is working on a mechton and needs help defeating the jumbo puff at the end of the west route. Wiz is still repairing his octopod to confront the merc puff that dwells deep down under the surface at the end of the northwest route. Noko has tamed the midget and is preparing to take on the hoof puff at the end of the east route. Finally, Goop is almost done with the goo glide. a machine able to ride the waves of the surf all the way out to the Porky Puff at the end of the route to the southeast. Out of Date says his friends are gearing up to stop the World Eaters. There's one at the end of each route. He wants you to understand that you'll all die if the tree isn't saved. Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part in the tribe war and the situation with the World Eaters. You're getting the hang of it. Quickest way out is through the roof where they came in, and the rope looks strong enough to climb. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. A signpost maps it out for the cartographically challenged. Let's see. Must be the World Eater that chewed off Out of Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. Look, a survivor. Glad to see someone made it out alive. He's heard the stories about the terror inflicted by the World Eaters to other enclaves, but never expected one to come all the way here. He worries there won't be much left to save if this continues, even if the Tree of Life survives the attack. He doesn't know what your connection is to this place, but something tells him you've stayed true to your heart. Anyway, he needs help and says it's by your actions you'll be judged, not. He's grateful for that. You still seem to have a spark of light in you.
That's a spark of light in you!
What's there to like about light? It hurts to look at.
Not as much as it hurts to look at you.
Always making this personal.
And you're always trying to pretend it's not.
There's Out of Date again. He must have missed something important. Out of Date says you will make a better stand against the World Eaters with the support of a tribe, and there are two nearby. Regardless of who you choose, it won't be easy, as the conflict between the tribes is worse than ever, teetering on the brink of war. The Myriad's conviction to stop the World Eaters began when the Leviathans rose from the depths of the surf. Siding with the Myriad's movement for wholeness in a fragmented world might seem like the logical thing to do, but is it the right thing? One thing's certain, though. Destiny arrives all the same. The Jagni tribe only ever had one conviction: to bring balance to the world by wiping out the weak. They believe a cleansing is necessary to restore the world and want to let the World Eaters bring down the Tree of Life. But siding with Jagni isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fate will find a way. Out of Date says someone needs to break the stalemate and shift the balance of power to either Jagni's or Myriad's side. He believes the tribe's Sifus, Myriad especially, will listen to you and expects you to pay at least one of them a visit and play your part. Out of Date will be waiting for you beneath the Tree of Life if you lose track of what you need to do. Another fork in the road. It's either the tunnel or the motor bridge. What'll it be? It's a bridge. Just get over it. They've restroyed this area, muddied up what used to be muck, as if it wasn't bad enough before the tribe war began. That's the Jagni tribe's fort. Their friendship can be a blessing or a curse. It's up to you. You're either a part of their solution to the tribe war or part of the problem. Let's see. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. Says the Sifu decides who the Sifu wants to see, but is willing to let you give it a try.
Zata is the muito tloho. Kariesne statse. Paro, ya put
The Jagni tribe wants to become omnipresent and, most importantly, feared. They want to vanquish the tribes, as the only way they can guarantee peace is through supremacy. The Sifu is determined to let the World Eaters destroy the Tree of Life, as it's part of their strategy to cleanse the world and start anew. He welcomes you to the Jagni fort and introduces himself as the tribe's Sifu. The news of a cold-blooded Ronin crossing the Great Wall through the crack in Bunker 101 preceded you. The wall that separates them from the other side, the wasteland you came from. He guesses the time spent there just left a blank space in your memory, as empty and barren as the wasteland itself. There's something about your spirit that sparks memories of you as a kidling. He can still sense you're kind-hearted. Sometimes one memory can make another come to life. He hasn't thought about your Muma for ages, even though she taught him a lot. He was one of the original Wang Fu disciples. There were 6 of them, but the unity fell apart after Lupa Lupin attacked the old village. Soon after, they formed new tribes based on their own values, and when the blight started, the animosity escalated to war. Jagni doesn't want a new unity between the tribes. Their goal is to become omnipresent and, most importantly, feared. Says there is some darkness in the best of us, even you, and suggests you embrace that side of you and help them vanquish the tribes and let the World Eaters destroy the Tree of Life. He had a feeling you'd say that. You're not sinister enough to be a Jagni. That big heart of yours makes you weak. He'll give you a chance to change your mind before you leave and asks you to reconsider. Otherwise, you'll be seen as a rival. Then so be it. He wants you to know that they'll show no mercy at the end of this war, and offers you a last chance to come back and join when you realize you've picked the wrong side. And with that, he urges you to seek protection at Myriad's stone fort before word gets out that you've chosen not to side with them. He disagrees, and the day you meet again, you'll understand why. It's time to say goodbye for now, and if it's not the kind of goodbye that lasts forever, then the next will mean the end for you. Better beware, that's a mump up ahead. They were hit hard by evolution, the wonky ones especially, deformed and unfurled. Everything feels better. Watch you flex. Beefed up. Let's see. home stretch. That's the Myriad tribe's fortress. Will they be friends or foe? You should head up there. That way you'll know. Let's see. It's a beaten path to that door. If you go there, you'd better make an entrance. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. Says just because you've made time to meet the Sifu doesn't mean he has time for you. But you're welcome to give it a try.
Sipi? Lapanen aginkanman. Karatna falo hutut mustugai lavute.
The Myriad tribe act on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. They believe uniting the tribes is the only way to restore the peace. The Sifu is convinced that defeating the World Eaters and saving the Tree of Life is the only way to make the world a better place. He welcomes you to the Myriad fort and introduces himself as the tribe's Sifu. The wall that separates them from the other side, the wasteland you came from? He guesses the time spent there just left a blank space in your memory, as empty and barren as the wasteland itself. There's something about your spirit that sparks memories of you as a kidling. He can still... The Sifu says sometimes one memory can make another come to life. He hasn't thought about your Muma for ages, even though she taught him a lot. Your Muma invented Wung Fu. Originally, it consisted of unarmed combat and the 6 weapons, the boomerang, the shuriken, the bow, the staff, the nunchuk, and the hook and chain. The Sifu was waiting for something to tip the balance in their favor, and with you by their side, he's confident you can unite the other tribes. The one you should coerce first is the Jagni tribe. He wants you to focus. These are the new rival outposts your tribe needs to take control of. He says you'll regret not being on their side. The only way you'll learn their secrets, Wung Fu and the tribe weapon now, is if you defeat him. And that will never happen. You both have gentle minds, so they want to wage a gentle war. A war that bonds as much as it breaks. Tells you not to be afraid. Your fate cannot be taken from you. Claim the rival outposts and earn the right to wield the tribe weapon. Once you've dealt with the rivals' outposts, you'll challenge their Sifu to unite their tribe with yours and let your kin share land again. Seeing you brings back his memories of the old village. He remembers your kind and unselfish soul and can sense you still have it in you, the will to do good.
Platz?
Anyway, the memories you make with your family are strong and can sometimes come to life. Passing the old village on your way to the first rival outpost might help. Sparkles about how brilliant it is to have someone like you that shares both genetics and karma in the Myriad spectrum. Says you should take it easy. Says they like your kind. Says goodbye to you. The gatekeeper welcomes you back to the fort. Seems surprised you have to go. Time is lost on this place, but it evokes a tingling sensation. There's something special about it, drawing you closer. As time passes, memories fade, and sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. Echoes of a long-lost past like whispers in the wind. Here's someone who takes each day as it comes. He wonders where you've been. He hopes you've been out at the lake, practicing your swimming technique. Learning to swim can be scary when you don't know what you're doing. But fortunately, he's here to give you a helping hand. He thinks you should really know how to swim by now. Why not? There's no better time to do what needs to be done than right now. He says that wasn't too bad, was it? At least you learned that you'll drown if you don't swim. But you need practice, lots of practice. Judging by your Mooma's look, it seems you forgot something.
Berry?
You promised you'd train with her before the sun goes down. It's time to go. The dedication to training is important. You can't rely solely on the fact that Wang Fu is in your blood. You should know, practice makes perfect. She'll see you at the village square. She says that's good. With a passion for learning, you'll never cease to grow. Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. He was hoping you could help him pick up some scrap for a thingamajig he's working on. He's happy to hear that from someone that's a part of the coming generation. You owe it to yourself to protect the environment. You should look for things that are recyclable. It shouldn't take you too long to find some. He wonders what usefulness you found. He says every little thing counts. He can work wonders with almost anything and asks if you know how to upcycle. He says only a few are willing to do the little things, but if you make enough of them, they can have a big impact too. He'd love to teach you to upcycle, and the scrap you found would be a good start. You did well, but he can't help but wonder why you decided to craft a weapon. He believes being considerate will help you feel at peace with yourself. He's looking forward to seeing what you'll make next. It seems you have a talent for this. It looks like she's starting to lose her patience.
Amun.
You know she doesn't like waiting for you. She wants to see you on the village square right away.
Anarolote.
Then you've got a good excuse. You share a responsibility to prevent hardship on nature and the environment. It's your future.
Kala.
She wants you to grow up and start thinking for yourself. You really need to find yourself before she's gone.
Ariaroche nui mumera.
That's all she's ever asked of you, that you'll try and give it your best. You can't do more than that.
Anora kapapum.
You've always followed your own path, but this time she needs you to follow her. They look determined. Better watch out.
Popolo.
He asks you to stop right there and wonders where you think you're going.
Popolo.
He says that it's not too late for you to turn back, though.
Ikofi.
There's no way they'll let you pass.
Matba. Ole pep salora.
He wants to know who you think you are.
Matba. Ole pep salora.
You'll have to face pain at some point. He offers to help you get it over with.
Vaeseno kasaman waru.
She asks if you're hurt. What happened?
Bola kudo.
She says it's nice of you to consider them, but they have weapon training at sunrise tomorrow, so they'll need all the rest they can get.
Kanamunta.
The most important thing is that you're okay.
Bola kudo.
It's time to focus on your training now. Here's someone close to heart, doing what he does best. He asks if you could help him, too, before you leave for training. He wishes that was true for your Moomer, too, but guiding the village into the future and teaching Wang Fu to her disciples seems more important for every day. He suggests you get going and find him gadgets and ideas for how you can upcycle some old fabrics. He's curious to see what you found. He's all for renewal and has even considered making the trip out into the wilds to look for a bionucleus pool and refresh his DNA. He says it's about time you learned how and offers to teach you, starting
sila goyo.
The style might be too edgy for his taste, but it looks sharp on you.
Some.
He's looking forward to seeing what you'll make next. It seems you have a talent for this.
Kamonu.
Your Muma says it's about time you got here.
Kanyala no toro.
Hopes you're as ready as you claim to be.
Mustiki muhka.
She says she is eager to get started. You don't have much time left before the sun goes down.
Kalino.
Your Muma says you did well today. She's so proud of you.
Taifaname numa.
Thanks you for being such a good student.
Anson bara.
Been working on a present for you, with the help of Gizmo and Wiz.
Taifaname numa.
You should go see him and find out what it is. You've deserved it. Catchy.
Taifaname numa.
Your Muma says she's never seen an apparatus as green as this little thing. It's wonderful.
Pial tu ma.
It's called an automaton, and it's hardwired to your DNA. It'll follow wherever you go and see whatever you see.
Ferena masalapu.
Says it's not a record keeper, more like a companion.
Ferena masalapu.
Your Muma says you look tired. No wonder. It's been a long day.
Ritsentere.
Says a good rest makes you ready for tomorrow. Rest and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupin from setting the world on fire.
Antoro. Kensi. Kamonu.
Your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. That's just adding fuel to the flames. Give it a last burst and you'll make it.
Amu.
Your Muma says this is it. The time has come. She must fight Lupin. This time there's no escape. She can hear him coming.
Masama.
Whatever happens, you need to know she loves you. And everything she's done has been to protect you, your Popsy, and those she was chosen to lead. Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. Don't make waves. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you go with the flow. Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on. Snazzy hatter. The tribe's caught a fluffy hulk. Better watch out, it's no pet. They couldn't keep it down. Fluff hulk's on the loose. They've received news a Ronin had strengthened their ranks and were looking forward to meeting you. A group of Myriad crusaders already headed out to Jagni's Mercadorpus outpost and are waiting for you there. You should hurry there and help them best the outpost. Not really. It's west of Bricktown. You can spot Gizmo's chug yard from the hill it resides on. Look, an emergency box from the old days. Wow, bet that nut makes a tight fist. Tunnels like this still carry echoes from the past. Can you hear it? That paid off. Smash that trash! That notice board? Filled with the leftovers of used-to-be wants. You're getting close to one of those old Toxanol brick towns. The Toxanol Corporation made this place, and then just threw it away when they... Toxanol never cared about the waste, as long as they didn't have to pay to clean it up. There must be a track somewhere in this brick town. Just hope it's not buried. At least you got something for your trouble. Looking better than ever. A waste of time. It's a game of life, yours and everyone else's. You found the track! Amazing it wasn't destroyed. So much of this place was just discarded. Lucky the track... No, it was never nice. It was new once, but that's not nearly the same thing. Just being new never lasts. The tracks moved on from Bricktown, and you should too. What looks like the fry sparker's knobs need to be in sync if you want to get the hardware working. It's a fry sparker mindset. Boom, you got something. It's not exactly what you wanted, but you got it right away. Your destiny waits on the path you'll take to avoid it. Hat. You need more scrap to make that work. You found the whereabouts, the deepest, darkest forest in the land. Sometimes hard to see for all the trees. Daytime is a good time to be outside. That's a Jagni tribe outpost.
Tewa peo wesewa so white.
Says you should watch yourself if you're heading further east. They'd had trouble there with a bandit camp.
Tewa peo wesewa so white.
Says you should take it easy. Let's see what you can make. Mercadorpa's outpost, a Jagni tribe stronghold. Says it's time to set the outpost free. Inflict as little damage as possible as you make your way through to the rival captain. Freedom is not worth having in a world that's doomed. Here's the first line of defense. That's a bomb lobber. Spot, wrecked it. That twirly wheel works that drain pipe. Spin the twirly wheel and open that drain. Everything's clocking together. Put a key to use. Keep going. That cage is holding a helper. They never lost hope you'd come, but weren't sure if they'd last long enough to see it. Says the tribe won't hesitate to carve out some revenge on the... A sharpshooter. The scaffolding looks unstable. Here's the second line of defense. Better stay clear of the red ray. Red means danger. Timber! Bet a big bump will bring it down. Switched off the light. A barrel chute. Smack it to get a barrel out of it, then hit it toward the gate and blast it. That looks splody. Shoot it and watch it blow. Not too close, though. Kaboom! You're in. Almost there. The outpost belongs to your tribe now. He says you made them weaker, but they won't give up. Your Sifu thanks you. Your tribe is growing stronger. Says you did a great job capturing the outpost. You've earned the privilege of carrying the tribe's weapon. Figures the honor belongs to the tribe, too. Out of Date says he's doing his best to keep up, but from what he can tell, it seems you're making progress with the tribe conflict.
Fabube, Muk Kofar,
He had a feeling you'd get along with the Myriad tribe.
Tolidrea, Ya Maoloa.
You seem to share the same values as the Myriad tribe. You both have the same optimistic outlook on life.
Momombusu?
But Out of Date emphasizes that solving the tribe conflict won't matter unless you help. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's forebodings are justified. The jumbo puff needs to be taken care of.
Tolidrea, Ya Maoloa.
He says the time has come to confront the jumbo puff at the...
Ya Yumawa.
Gizmo is working on making his mechton strong enough to endure the oxygen deprivation.
Setuatan Pop Kila.
You should get over there and see what you can do to help. At night, baddies can't see you so good either. There's news of a Ronin joining the tribe. That's a gnote, easy prey for Loopa-Loopin. For everyone else, they're a perfect mount and easily tamed if they are kept fed. That's a resource totem. That's a resource totem. A monument left behind by those that picked scrap, trying to keep the area clean. That's a resource totem. A monument left behind by those that picked scrap, trying to keep the area clean. Be careful where you grab that mount. It's the chug yard. Tribes always scavenging for scrap, and the yard has plenty to go around. But they should have stuck to looting instead of playing around with sprockets. Bomber Bonkers busy ram-banging the door. This is your chance. This could be the beginning of the end of everything. Individual attention. Yes, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Now, let's take this back to Earth. Wow, you really took that all the way down to the end, in flames. It's a wonder some of these up and downs still work. Guess they built machines better in the past. I need to brush up on my Wando, but I have a feeling he believes it was you that caused the bang at the yard. Oh, and he says he knows you. You used to call him Gizmo. He gave you the oil-greased hands when he taught you how to upcycle. Gizmo remembers you as a nice kidling, and he can still sense the warmth of you. But Gizmo says how you experience a memory can be different. You know the story. He hopes you remember that one time he taught you to upcycle. He understands history made Loopin a big part of your past. You still believe there's some good in everyone. You still have... He says you should know that what's meant to be will always find a way, but history shouldn't consume you. Gizmo encourages that. You should forgive, but...
Fan that flame!
Wait, no! Bright light blinds! It's dangerous!
I've got all the cold sick burns.
Oh, do you have to insult me over this?
I don't have to. But I...
Hard to be... Grateful to you for coming back and doing your best to change things. Wonders if you liked working with the Myriad. They all... But that's not important. Gizmo says it's taken a long time to bring the past up to the present, and where you go from here... He can't leave the underyard as he has no protection against the vacuum in the dead zone. So... You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the mechton strong enough to fight the jumbo puff. There are more crates from before the apocalypse left out in the wild. Easy to find if you keep an eye out. There's short of breath and death to this zone. Better take care. He who half breathes, half lives. You...
Clapper, kiwa do.
Gizmo wants to help if he can.
Pop. Oh. Clack is on bar. Hello, dog. Oppie.
The Merc Puff Shell
Hello,
wants to know how much,
Cool time to be you.
so says you covered the important.
Sit up.
Gizmo wants to help if he can. Looks like the switches need to be turned to match so enough charge can flow through the conductors. You need to line up the switches so they bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Are your lungs aching? Muscles like steel. That's the leftover you're looking for. Gross. This place stinks. You feel bright-headed now.
Hey, auto. Brother. Brother. Keep up. Brother.
He says that's enough to get the mechton functional. You'll have an engine, a fuel soaker, a gun and a gathering net, but no armor, nor enough oxygen supply.
Hey, auto.
Something he devised to salvage valuable. Unfortunately, this means you'll have to venture farther out into the dead zone than Moog's camp on the steep depot. Once you find Moog, he'll be able to give you directions to... Go see what you can see in this fresh day. The grease monkey's mechton is built sturdy, just like himself. Can you imagine how this place used to look before the dead oil flood? Might want to hold your breath before you head any further. You're about to witness the breathtaking vistas of what's known as the Dead Zone. In the old world, roads like this really led somewhere. Now, most of them lead to disaster. That over there is Steepo Depot, the cliffside that Moog hangs on to.
Potser immo Diava.
This one's impressed to see you out here. He figured you'd be dead by now. Not many are as tough and clever as you must be. Claims he goes after the most dangerous. Moog says that all your power doesn't do you a bit of good if you're choosing what. You might have a steady aim, but you need to... It's hard to make those life or death decisions for others, but someone's got to do it. Otherwise, they'll do it. When it comes to monsters, he mostly picks who dies. Says you should give up on working with the stubborn Myriad. He keeps trying to put out their lights and they... But enough of that, right? He says the wildlife, nature, has changed and turned against us. He's not sure about their veggie diet anymore, and if it's changed, who knows what it's done with the Right now, though, he feels he's come to a point where he's got a pretty clear idea on the whereabouts of thinks that it all hangs on the tree of life. Moog says you must learn to walk before you can run. It takes practice before you can call yourself. Fortunately for you, he can help. He understands you need to start off with something small. There's no better place to start than a squip cave. Hunting down a couple of these little critters for yourself should keep you on your toes. Thinks you have bigger issues than your so-called haunting skills if...